It would be remiss to overlook Gran Turismo's racing video game market contribution. Not only has the series sold over 80 million units, but it has laid the groundwork for what driving simulators should be. You'd be hard-pressed to find a racing game fan out there that has not been inspired by Kazunori Yamauchi's vision in some form. Ergo, Gran Turismo 7, the first numbered release for over 8 years, has a gravitas that few can compete with. But thanks in part to that elongated wait, there's also been a whole generation of racers who've missed out on that feeling of tuning up a skyline or achieving a gold rating across all the license tests. Polyphony Digital's latest needs to not only reach Sony's lofty ambitions, but it also must bring new fans into the genre and inspire a social media-addled crowd that driving cars can be fun. No small task. So, it's time. Here's our review of Gran Turismo 7. How the development team has gone about this is unorthodox. I can't think of another car-based title out there that has anything close to the structure of Gran Turismo 7, a structure that is its very heart, as this is an unabashed return to a single-player career with more layers than 10 onions. Things begin in a humdrum fashion. You start out with a modest amount of funds and a slow car, in my case, a diesel Mazda 2. Oh dear. The appeal of early Gran Turismo games was slowly working your way up, improving your driving ability and the speed of your machines. The same is true here, except you travel through a series of Café menus. No, really, each quote-unquote menu has a selection of items to collect, except they are cars, not club sandwiches. Completing races earns you vehicles on each menu, filling a menu unlocks a history lesson and the next set of vehicles to aim for. Combine this unique arrangement with the now traditional license tests, a reward for driving the length of a marathon each day, which could be cars, cash or upgrades, and a game of cards for each championship victory, and, surprisingly, this concoction of Japanese eccentricities creates an enthralling reward loop. The main aim is to collect every car, which sounds simple enough, but you can't just buy everything from the brand central. Just like in the real world, some of the high-end vehicles like the Aston Martin Vulcan require an invitation to buy. There's also the used car dealership, which has fresh stock each day. Some items are limited in availability, and you'll only see around 17 cars in here in each refresh. Sitting alongside this is the Legend Cars retailer, selling just 5 expensive rare vehicles each day. In your garage, there's a car collection area which lists every car as a silhouette. Once you acquire a new vehicle, it then appears here in full colour. Estimating from these shapes, there will be several historic vehicles that are still secret even though the game is about to release. This leads to a need to gain all the vehicles, especially as the first time you may even know of a car's existence is when you see one on track as a rival. This is a car list that's curated to highlight the history of the motor vehicle, as opposed to yet another collation of contemporary unobtainium. Throw in the genre-leading photography options, livery editor and split-screen multiplayer, and you'll never be short of activities. Circuit experience lessons and left-field missions add fun distractions to the main grind too. The potentially controversial element to the process is that you must unlock tracks through the Café. A list of competitions to take part in, like the Clubman Cup, is also absent. Instead, a Café challenge will take you to a track, and after completion, it will also unlock circuits alongside cars. In the end, this adds to the yearning. I stepped away from playing Gran Turismo 7 for a day, only to find myself daydreaming about unlocking Spa and earning a classic Porsche. Speaking of circuits, the classic fictional venues of High Speed Ring, Trial Mountain and Deep Forest Raceway all return, but with heavily revised layouts. Some may find that sacrilege, but once I'd adapted, Deep Forest for example, is more rewarding. Alongside these 3 returnees, there's 2 variants of Daytona and every track that was in the last Gran Turismo game, GT Sport. On paper then, that doesn't seem like enough. However, each has had a visual uplift. Tsukuba and Alsace, for example, now look more weathered with worn asphalt and permanent rubber grooves. Others, such as the superlative Autodrome Lago Maggiore, have seen new curbs, corner angle tweaks, and even some additional layouts added. The net result is that while many tracks carry across, the vast majority feel different. This is amplified by the track's specific dynamic weather conditions, and sadly not every venue has the full suite of evolving rain, time and lighting conditions. But what you will come to appreciate is just how detailed it can be. At the Nordschleife you can start a race with a grey sky and by the end of the lap, it started raining. Or in Tokyo, a race can start at night and transition to daybreak. It's subtle, but it's effective. When a track is drenched, such as the Red Bull Ring, if you're on dry tyres, you need to creep around and avoid any offline puddles, as it should be. With such a heavy emphasis on esports and online racing for the past 5 years in the world of Gran Turismo, and with a focus so far on the single-player component, network racing hasn't been forgotten. The pioneering sport mode returns, providing ranked daily races, and in the future, promises of tournaments and championships. An algorithm factors in your driver skill and ability to race cleanly, and then places you in a race with similarly skilled competitors across the globe. The core mechanics are very similar to that of the last Gran Turismo game, only this time the number of road cars you can compete with is significantly larger, as performance points are a determining entry factor. A numerical value signifying a level of speed, PP-based daily races make for more varied grids, with some cars quicker in a straight line, while others will be more agile. Customizable lobbies return with a few more setup options, while meeting places appear within the circuit list as places to simply show off car modifications to other players. I'm not really sure why, but they exist. Once you've adjusted to the distinct progression system and realised the vast scope on offer, the vehicle handling also needs acclimatization. The difference between how this drives in its forebear, 2017's GT Sport, is stark. Like receiving a pair of new prescription glasses, you can finally see how realistic a console-based driving game can be. Front-wheel drive hot hatches need a little lift upon corner entry to tuck the nose in, rear-wheel drive muscle cars just want to burn rubber and spin. But it's the racing cars that are the stars. They remain rigid over curbs, uncompromising over bumps. There's a sense of connection you'll rarely feel outside of a professional simulator. The sense of speed pummeling your pupils the first time you helm a Group C 24 Hours of Le Mans racer will knock you for 6. If playing with the DualSense controller, the ABS will pulsate through your index finger. Again though, it's worth noting you won't get to experience this until you're far into the game. Personally, I think it's how it should be. You really earn it. Just don't give in after spinning a wayward Camaro for the 9th time or fail to wrestle a tuned Focus RS around Interlagos, which is a risk. The Gran Turismo series has always been on the accessible side of authentic, but now smooth throttle application, trail braking and car tuning, which is also expensive, detailed and sometimes overwhelming, are essential. There will be a subsection of the audience who will just want access to every quick car from the off, jump into a super formula and be done with. They will struggle. Receiving your first racing car is a moment that delivers a sense of accomplishment rarely found elsewhere, provided you're willing to put in the hard yards. When you finally get to drive circuit to Spa-Francorchamps after it's rained in a Porsche 917, placing a tyre on a wet curb and spearing off into a wall, it's not a frustrating moment. You are simply in awe at how this is an experience like no other. The hours of building up to that moment, the sound of the Metzger engine, the detailed cockpit and the representation of a drying track to combine to create a euphoric moment. It may take you a while, many hours of gameplay to get to this point, but it's worth it. So, that is our review of Gran Turismo 7. Are you picking this up? Are you already playing it? Let us know in the comments section below. Stay tuned to the Traxion channel for more Gran Turismo 7 content coming your way, and ring the bell to not miss out on those as soon as they go live. But until I see you again, enjoy Gran Turismo 7, I know I am. Have a fantastic rest of your week, take care of yourselves, keep it pinned, and we'll see you next time.